your jam of the day.
Echo on my voice. Y'all just listening out there. Y'all listening while I'm glistening? Maybe not. We're back. No more effects.
Hi.
We are here for your amusement. I'm a dancing monkey.
Woohoo.
Maybe not, but Chris's pants are off.
They about mid-level.
All the way off.
I'm going.
He's fucking.
I'm shimmying them down, baby.
He's Porky Pigging it out this bitch. Got a shirt on, no pants.
Yep.
They around his ankle though, like handcuffs. So he's walking around like he got pigeon toe-itis.
I got my Superman fundaroos popping.
Introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Lita. I like long walks in cemeteries, and I do art stuff. And you should follow that art page. It is, that is odd on Instagram, all _ so check that out. And and sometimes I take pictures and post funny memes, so you should follow me. Follow me for a good time.
Yes, my name is Chris. I'm a funny person here on the show with my friends. My friends George and Lita, and shout out to the homie Matt, not with us tonight. But but we here, pants are down, love is in the air. Also, Dracar Noir. We're ready to rock and roll with you, and hopefully we got a big listening audience tonight to be able to be entertained and enamored by these sounds that we put out into space.
Name's George Peters. I'm a Leo. I like suplexes, moonwalks on your grave. I also like a new pair of skate shoes and a hug.
A big hug, like one of them titty forward hugs. None of that Christian side bullshit.
I don't do side hugs. Even if you got a boner, it better touch my tip.
I love you.
That's how I know we real friends.
You know what? It's also you can tell when you've creeped a girl out is when you go, you're like, all right, like, yo, give me a hug. You can tell like the level of creeped out they are by you by like the angle of the hug. Like if you get the full frontal like parallel joint, she's comfortable.
Yeah,
with
they're hitting exit velocity before they even hug you.
Yeah, right.
Like,
and making sure like
how do I orbit off this nigga?
It's just like shoulder, like.
Yeah, they're not sure. This is like
a hunchback hug, like.
What's more awkward, that or where they reach around and grab your butt and they're like.
Oh, I will fuck people up for that. Like.
Dude, well, no, like
what,
for a
girl?
dude.
Yeah.
Girl, I expect it. Like you're gonna be like, who the fuck you think you is?
Ooh, paradigm shift. Paradigm shift.
I definitely.
It's like women making it uncomfortable for dudes, right? I feel like it is self-serving for a guy though, you know. At the same
I don't
time.
think. I mean, I'd say this for dudes, it is going to be a little bit more. You're not used to it if a woman hits on you as much, like in a physical manner. Like it's typically like, get away from me. But like I remember one time I was at the beer museum and I was dressed like a priest and some old lady kept trying to be like, can you forgive me? And I was like, oh, this is old people game.
Bless me, Father, for I have sinned.
Jesus Christ. Jesus.
But yeah, like at that moment I understood because there was like, you know, I don't want to say there's a power dynamic, but typically if you're a respectful dude when a woman's a little bit older than you like, I don't know, there's some type of like your own mother's age. Like typically you're like, okay, like you touched my no spot.
Man, I'll tell you a funny story from Vinova days was we had this woman come in, and it was kind of wild, man. She came in, she was with her daughter, and she was about 56, 60 years old, something like that. And her daughter was like 18 to 20, something like that. And they came in, and the woman had a couple drinks, and like, I was just being like friendly, hosty, friendly, flirty, or whatever, and like, there was witnesses to it. It was just funny. I'm like, she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna leave now. Can I have a hug? I was like, sure. So she comes in for the hug, and like, then she straight up did the fucking close eyes, head to the side, open mouth, tongue out, coming at me. And I gave her the straight up. Had to give her like the Heisman.
Talk to the hand.
The Heisman stiff arm. But her daughter's face was like, I'll never forget the look on her face. You think about the most embarrassed you've ever been about your parents, right? This may have been that moment for this girl.
I died that day.
The most embarrassing, what should have been the most embarrassing moment, is my favorite story about my father. One time I got hit in the head during a fist fight with a cinder block at a basketball court because I made the mistake of getting in the middle of two cousins fighting. I was like, oh, we just trying to play basketball. And then it turned into me getting my ass whooped in front of my brother. So, like, I start thinking I'm winning this fight because people start running. Then I realize my big-ass dad is just running people down, like, fucking people up. And I'm like, and I'm flexing. It's just my dad whipping people's ass. But then my dad steps it up another level. Once he realized that I got hit in the head with a cinder block, he was like, I know where these niggas live. My dad went to their family reunion and walked in their backyard and started fucking slinging around terms. He was like, which one of y'all niggas hit my son with a fucking cinder block? And this lady chose the wrong moment to talk, and she was like, you need to teach your son how to fight. And all of a sudden, my dad I thought he was going to whip everybody's ass at this party. He was like, y'all are common niggas. Black trash. I was like, I turned around and got in the car. I was like, oh my God, dude. And it should have been embarrassment, but I was like, you know what? That's the loudest I've ever heard that man in my entire life. I got legitimately afraid because I had got my ass whipped before by him several times, and he had said several things such as that, and I was like, y'all don't know what y'all doing. He gonna take off his belt and whip all y'all's asses.
I can't really. I'm trying to think of a good I got a good embarrassing parent story, but it ain't like that. I was a lifeguard, and when I was like 15 to 18, and my first lifeguarding gig, I worked at this pool, and like I'm in the lifeguard office talking to the other lifeguards, and when the other dude comes, he's like, oh, dude, you should see, man, there's these two gay dudes out there, and they're wearing Speedos, dude. Like, you got to see this, man. Like, whoa. Mind you, this is 1995, and people were still, like, a little bit scared of homosexuality. So I go out, and I go out on the deck, and I see it's two dudes, and there's one dude, and he's in, like, this bright blue fucking banana hammock, and he's, like, stretching, getting ready to get in the water. And then there's this other dude in this like bright orange banana hammock. That's my dad. And they weren't there together. They just coincidentally were sitting near each other. Or the gay dude was like, oh, geez, another one. Yeah. So the guy's like, yo, and he's like, isn't that hilarious? And I'm like, oh, yeah, totes my goats. Like, man, I did not say, oh, yeah, no, dude, that's my dad, dude. Like, totally, yeah, but it was awesome. Shout out to Mike Kenworthy and his love for banana. Unapologetically, my dad, like, he rocks Speedos. Like, my dad is American born but thinks he's Euro trash. So he and he will make sure that he is in a banana hammock at any given point in time that is acceptable and sometimes unacceptable. But my dad loves.
Is that an 80s dudes thing? Because like our generation are pretty much like board shorts. That was like a universal thing. If we went to the beach, it was like more surfer type shit. And maybe swimming back in the day was looked at more as, swimming.
Yeah, I think. Well, there's several different like groups of people that I feel still subscribe to Speedos.
Magnum PI,
professional wrestlers, and like that whole thing. What isn't that such a weird like tradition in wrestling?
They come out in they draws. You don't think like they tricked our generation of dudes up because that shit would come on right after like cartoons went off,
right?
And it was like the people that were in there weren't like Stone Cold or just some random dude's name. It was like Hulk Hogan. And it was like real good guys, like some dude that was like flexing and balding. And then there was like the Iron Sheik. So there were always bad guys that were related to the fact of countries that were in opposition to the United States.
And they were always all fully covered though. You ever notice
that?
Yeah.
Like
the bad guys always wore full ass covering. Because the good guys would be out there, one nut hanging out.
Thinking back on it, you know who was the gayest character they've ever had? Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's just coming out in some black draws,
Yeah.
some black boots. He got a mustache. He looks like he could be like a dude that you would see at like in San Francisco and like fucking the Folsom Street Fair, fucking being like, check me out. Like he's socks above the boots away from being like working out at Gold's Gym in fucking Fremont.
Well, I mean, I think that the entirety of professional wrestling is always.
Well, I know it started off because you can't make money off of like regular wrestling. Nobody like, even if you're going to like the Big Ten championships, it maybe fills a basketball arena, like a smaller one.
Dude, my homie from college was ranked #1 in NCAA for like his entire college career in 145 weight class, which is the most popular weight class.
Yeah.
And you know what he's doing now?
Probably
He's teaching wrestling at Blacksburg High School.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so if you're like
possibly on the sex offenders list.
well, now the real goal for anybody that does like especially grappling arts, there's this website called I forgot what it's called, like BJJ hacks, and there's a bunch of them where literally all the people do is pretty much, let's say you go and win a tournament, whether it's wrestling or jiu-jitsu, by a certain move. Right after that, you release an instructional of that move, and because it's like if a song comes out and it's really popular, they do the same thing now because that's the only way to make money off of it. Because like nobody's really going to pay, like unless you're going to punch each other, like and go to the UFC. That's the only way to really make money off of, other than like 3 or 4 people. But most of the money that people, like even Gordon Ryan, the best jiu-jitsu guy, like he'll maybe make like 60, 70, maybe $100,000 from a fight. But he'll make like $2 million in a month from the instructionals.
Yeah.
So like there is no money, and wrestling is the least appreciated like of all the grappling arts, because like jiu-jitsu, we're wearing a gi, so it's almost like people like you're wearing pajamas, but at least you're fully clothed. And wrestling, like they in like spandex,
Yeah.
and they nips out, and
Now the nips are covered by like those singlets. Do like I think that the straps are supposed
depends. So the straps in like folk style, which is high school wrestling, typically go over your nipples.
Right.
But when you get to international competition, especially freestyle, the Iranians had this shit that like pretty much was like it went up in the middle of their chest. It's like they were trying to show off their nips. And I don't know why.
Look at these beautiful nipples of
Look
Allah's
how
grace.
hard they are.
Like, is it
So
a traction
hard.
thing? Is that how you get like a grip on their like leg when you're doing a takedown? You got the nip grips.
Nip grips, yo. I mean, well, you know what's funny is like you think about too, dudes who got like big old areolas too. They like
Flapjack.
shit's looking
Bringing fury.
Yeah, right. Shit looks like like one of them like on symbols for the power on symbols and shit. Yeah, but at least in wrestling you had some coverage, like you had a little bit more downward coverage on your legs, and you definitely had your stomach covered. I was a swimmer in high school.
Oh yeah, that is.
Let me
Swimming
tell
you
you
all out.
Well, yeah, if you're swimming, all right, you're a 14 to 18-year-old dude. You're completely like have this complex about being out. You got acne all over your fucking body because you can't hold it. The water's cold, so your dick looks like a mole trying to make its way out of a fucking hooded sweatshirt. And you're like, I swear, I
I figured,
and you're on display for hundreds of people.
I'd almost think that like there would be a move, because like dudes like swim, like people would shave their body and stuff, at that Olympic level, trying to get like like quarters of a second off their time.
Right.
Like, do you think dudes like in swimming, do people tuck to try to get faster?
Absolutely, man. Like especially with the
That's why
the
black dudes
surgeons
don't
of
swim.
well, that's what I was about to say. All the Soul Brothers coming in, they're like Speedos.
You gotta
got
take that shit to your asshole.
They got the thigh pocket. They're like, you just like sheathe that thing like a fucking katana blade. Nah, but now swimmers, they have like it's the fashion is they wear like the knee length biker short type things.
Yeah.
But when I swam, those things came out. They were illegal in competition.
Make you faster?
Yeah, because they're less they have less drag resistance than skin does. So you could I remember Speedo came out with a quote unquote controversial like full body suit for dudes, and then I think now they use it, but yeah, dude, I remember just being 14, 15 and being in a Speedo, and there's hundreds of people watching me, and I'm like, man, I was like, fuck. But I will tell you this, it probably led to a lot of my shamelessness. My upbringing in general, I think, led to my shamelessness. But I think that being in the swim team, another thing though that people don't realize is that swim team is the bomb for you get a bunch of hormonal kids together, have them half naked and all like blood flowing and shit, and like pheromones are going. You're on a fucking poorly lit bus where there's 2 chaperones and 50 kids, you better believe finger banging was a popping and finger popping was a banging. That's for sure. It was our swim team was hilarious. We bring our bongs and shit with us, and then we go like run around the side of like whatever building we were doing to take bong hits and shit. And I mean, I hope my parents aren't listening to this and be like, "Oh."
Chris did bong hits.
Oh no, they know the bong hits. I think it's just like the I think more so my swimming in my house is a very cherished and heralded thing. My sister,
What's the impetus of that? Like, what are your parents like? Were they at like an upper level, or is it just something like the family was into?
So my dad's always been a prolific swimmer. He still to this day swims several
Like, did he
miles
swim on a
day.
team, or like do like
He swims on a Masters team, like the Masters thing, which is like a national subscription thing. You get together and like they do have competition. He doesn't compete. He just swims. Like he goes. My dad is like a specimen. He's like he's 70 like he's 76 years old. This man works out for 2 hours a day and then swims for like 3 miles for shits and giggles. Like that's his thing. So my dad was a big swimmer. That was his thing. He got my mom into it, but my little sister did like she made it to the Olympic level. She trained with the Olympic team, but then psychologically just was like couldn't get down with the actual going through with the Olympic stuff. Now she mentored a girl that went on to go to the Olympics and hold several world records, Kate Ziegler, and like we went like same high school. We were all on the same swim team. So I had to do swimming because my parents were like, all right, you got to do a sport. And I was doing baseball, and that was one, and that was fine. But they were like, you have to do another thing too. And skateboarding didn't fall underneath that. So we had to do swimming. But I would get baked as shit and go to fucking swim practice, or I'd skip it or whatever. But it was definitely like if you get like I will tell you, the sexual tension in a swim meet is. I mean, goddamn, you could cut that shit with like a fucking spork, dog. Like I said, you got just hundreds of hormonal teenagers that are half naked, that have blood flowing through them because they're doing athletic shit, and they're not. And then you have the biggest fear. You have the biggest what's the word I'm looking for? Aphrodisiac of all, like the whole forbidden fruit of doing pee-pee touch. And so, like, it was just like. But it was also fun as shit and teaches you all those stupid things that like organized sports and like blah blah blah. But yeah, it was a good time in the Speedo. In fact, I got called there's a funny. They did one of those video yearbooks for our year. I don't know if they did it for your all's. Did you guys have a video yearbook?
Nah, we had a regular yearbook.
They did one at our school, and my buddy and they interviewed me, and they're like, "Oh, you were on the swim team. What was it like?" And I was like, "Oh, it was great. Camaraderie and blah blah blah." And then like the videographer was slick, and he was a cool dude. And my best friend Eric was right behind me, and he goes up to him, and he's like, and then they like cut from me, and then they cut straight to Eric. And they go, no, that kid just wanted to be on the swim team so he could wear a Speedo in public. And they put that on the actual video yearbook. It's probably the greatest moment in the yearbook. So shout out to Eric Holmgren, aka DJ Billy Crystal Fingers in Richmond, Virginia. My BFF for life. Also a nice Latino man. With a Swedish last name. Yo, Lita, I feel bad. Like, we're totally taking over all the airtime.
That's okay. You guys can geek out about sports.
We're geeking out about Speedos. Really, I mean, we're talking. I don't think we've been talking nothing about.
I have like nothing to add because I'm not really like I don't watch sports. I don't follow it. I like watching boxing, but I don't quite follow it enough. Like. It's something that
Have you seen any of the Mike Tyson training footage for Jake Paul yet?
No, not really.
All right, so typically, this is what I'll say. When I see videos of Jake Paul, I think to myself, even at my age, if I put like 2 months into training, I could probably beat his ass by leaning on him. When I see Mike Tyson punching, I'm like, I don't want to fight him, and he's old. Like. He has the intimidation factor my dad used to have over me, where I should be able to whip his ass, but he was still big as fuck. I'm like, ugh, he whipped my ass a few times before. I've seen what happens when you get punched. Mike Tyson still punches with like a lot of. It's not just that it's hard, because George Foreman fought way farther into his career. Like not as old as Mike Tyson, but he was old. But he always just hit kind of. Like not slow, but just really hard and precise. Mike Tyson is really violent, and he's still really violent with his action. So like
mechanically speaking, because he's more stout and he's got shorter arm reach, but he's got that great the big hip action. He can get like he can get blows that are giving off the same force that somebody with the long reach can give, but he can get more in quickly.
Oh yeah.
And that's why he's got that whole thing where he does the two-piece in the midsection followed by his uppercut, which is like the signature Mike Tyson knockout. But Mike Tyson also is just goddamn crazy as fuck. He's going to be on mushrooms. He's going to be on weed. He's going to walk in that thing. And the best part is I like it because he's doing it for the old man in me that's really like fighting this new generation of kids coming up here with their vanilla-ass bullshit. And like Mike Tyson, that's what this fight represents. I think that this fight represents a bigger thing than just Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. This represents our 1980s to 90s rugged ass Newport smoking, field partying, out of 40 drinking, blunt smoking, latchkey kids that were not under surveillance after these Jack Harlow vanilla ass Bamas. No,
you know what's
I love you kids. I love all the kids out there.
They've got rich.
I don't.
Yeah. Fuck y'all kids.
Fuck them. I can even say it. I can say it in sign language. No, seriously. Fuck them kids.
Yeah, all right, bet, dude.
So yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna use that. We have a deaf customer that comes in. I'm definitely pulling that shit on.
Just
Like
point at them. Yeah.
We're like, oh.
I got. If you can see that on camera, I just did it.
Yeah, like
she did it.
my daughter knows, like, that's the foreign language she took. Instead of taking Spanish or Mandarin or anything,
that's
she was
smart
like,
as fuck.
She's like, I'm taking American Sign Language, and I was like, say what? And I think she's in her 3rd year of that shit.
Yo,
it's pretty easy to learn.
Well,
It's
she'll
like
just be sitting in the car.
Like I think it's easier than learning any kind of language. I learned a little bit. That was like the fun one, but I do it for my son because he's nonverbal. So it helps me to communicate with him. But it's pretty easy once you get those and you know the hand movements, and it comes naturally to you. Especially if you are actively using that to talk to somebody. You're not just like learning it in high school just to learn it.
Yeah, she was when she was in there, she would be sitting in the car and she would be signing what the song was saying. So that was I looked over, I was like, holy shit, she actually like I'm like, okay, she's doing it like fast, like, so I was kind of surprised by that, but it makes sense if you do anything for a prolonged period of time, and you got to do, like, I think in their class they have to sign. So.
Remember when that lady got caught lying? Like she bullshitted. And
oh yeah,
yeah, like was doing like a newscast, and she's like up there like. Like just like doing all sorts, like looking like a Three Stooges
wonderful.
act.
Like
how was she ousted?
Because who's gonna the person interviewing me most of the time is gonna be like, so you know sign language? Yeah, 3 years. Like,
yeah,
you get bullshit, and then you get on there and you're like,
I mean, obviously they hired you because they can't do it themselves, right?
Yeah, because think about like the supply and the demand of it. Yeah. There's just not that many people that know it fluently. You know, to walk in the room and say, hey, you know, I could be like, oh, hey, look, I know sign language, right. And YouTube, you'd be like, maybe.
And most people now, like, instead of like learning it or taking the time, a lot of the times, like, hearing loss can be semi-corrected with using those implants. So they just don't bother learning it. That shit's hilarious. Oh yeah, that's the video. Oh my god, that is so fucking awesome. I mean, it's not awesome. It's kind of shitty to do, but it's still funny.
No, it's hilarious. It's
still funny.
My favorite shit. My favorite sign language. My favorite sign language shit though is when you got them like jive thick white girls that go and do the sign language for the rappers, and like when they do like the WAP. If you ever see the WAP video, when the girl's like she's talking about like sucking the D, man. No, she's all like like she's cupping the balls, she's stroking the shaft overhand. She going for it, man. It's tight. I know. That's my favorite sign language artist.
I saw the lady. She might be the same lady doing it for Method Man, and she was like,
yeah. I think it's like one woman that does it for like all the famous rappers and shit.
That's a fucking career and a half. That'd
dude,
be badass.
That's your daughter's hustle, dog.
I'd be like, Lily, you got to do sign language for Redman.
She's been arrested several times for fraud. Sorry, I'm like I'm reading over your shoulder like her different booking like pictures.
She
oh my
just
god, her
simply
different
showed up
shots.
and offered assistance. They just let her in the fucking room, and she
You're
was
like, sure.
I got this. Yo, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm just gonna go to a public speaking event. And
it's totally convincing. Like she
Yeah.
she really did the
I don't know.
I didn't call for a silent. Like the guy's like, I didn't ask for this lady.
Some of those shits are so obvious because they probably said, and they went to sleep.
Like she did this, and that doesn't mean like murder.
Yeah.
So I know that. Like when she did that, I was like,
Dude, you should put on the one, put on the wet ass pussy one, man. I'll tell you that shit is fucking hilarious, man. Because there is, I don't, and I feel that American Sign Language is awesome. Like the American English is awesome because it's totally, it's so modular and able to be created upon, and there aren't any rules. It's not like in French. They have the French Academy, that regulates the language and shit. You can't just make up words like faux shizzle and shit like that. Are you guys watching it?
yeah. Is this real? Or is she?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
she's
this is real.
She's a real. That is awesome.
Yeah. Gulp, gulp.
That's hilarious.
Wop.
Whap, whap, whap. Actually, speaking of whap, man, I'll tell you what. I ate an entire pot of macaroni last night when I got home at 2 a.m. And I straight up, I had like that Cosby Show shit, like when he eats the hoagie before he goes to bed. I had a nightmare. I had a reoccurring nightmare the rest of the night. I forgot what it was. I was getting chased on an island, which is like this new thing I got. And and Kelly's like, Chris, are you all right? Like, you've been like tossing, turning, and grunting, and I just, it was just it was some macaroni in a pot. Whop, whop, whop. It was the whap. But God bless the WAP. That was a great moment in time. And I think WAP and Tiger King really got us through a big part of the pandemic.
Hell yeah, that's my hero right there. I still have that shirt, Tiger King.
Dude, did you see that shit?
I have some kinky sex. I've been known to have 2 boyfriends, and yes, I've done methamphetamine.
Dude, who did he come out and say recently he put on somebody's Instagram or Twitter or some shit. He pretty much like some pop artist. He was like, yeah, I got it. Yo, you ain't got banged by Tiger King yet or some shit.
He's like, I think he said it like, I'm an ounce of meth and like a weekend away from turning him gay or something.
Yeah. And God bless that dude, man. What's his name? Joe Exotic.
Oh yeah.
Boy, his real name is I
poor
forget.
Guy.
But poor guy, my ass, dude. That guy.
Yeah, he is kind of a I'm
all
sorry.
of them are
Man, shit. All they did. It doesn't matter what the fuck they did as people. The shit they did to animals, all of them, is inexcusable.
All of them,
and I hope they
including
fucking get
that woman. I'm sorry, but
that woman, that
she
bitch.
killed her husband.
That bitch, Carol. She's just as bad as like they are. Like I just can't. I can't.
There's nobody in the equation that has the animals' well-being in mind. At some point, it's all about gratifying either their ego or their wallets.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so terrible. There's people who do it with dogs too, though. But for real, like I at some point in time hope to be like the Carol Baskin, but for dogs, like where you just like I'll be able to like I want to see legislation that cracks down on dog breeding and fighting hard. Like I think dog fighting you should definitely be able to get the death penalty for 100%. And it was. What are you checking out, dude?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man. Dude, that shit when he gets bit by the tiger on the show that's comedy fucking gold right there.
Down there in Florida, and that's Carol Baskin down at Big Cat Rescue. It was all part of Carol Baskin's plan with Peter, the Carol Baskin.
But I'll be real though. Carol Baskin might be like a fun person to drink with.
He definitely. I do not doubt this. He has said her name more than anybody in the existence of the world. He said it so. Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
Like, it's 3 minutes straight of him mentioning her.
Bitching that she has this black cloud over her head of people thinking that she fed her husband to the tiger. A normal person would put upon my death, first sentence, upon my disappearance.
Yeah, it's kind of that whole like thing is kind of weird.
He made a music video.
He made albums, dude.
Yeah,
like,
it
was like
it wasn't even him singing.
Oh, that's the best part. He's just lip syncing. He's like
man.
Carol Baskin.
No, he's got some bangers though, for real. No, I'm just kidding.
If we could ever get the law to go in there and dig up that septic tank. I promise you he's underneath that damn thing.
I doubt it.
Oh, that
I
bad.
mean,
I'm pretty.
I think
like,
she probably fed them to the animals.
Yeah,
I
like,
mean, most
you don't want any-
realistically.
yeah.
I totally forgot he did this. He cut out her husband, a picture of her husband's eyes and mouth, and put his face in it, and was like, "Carol killed me." And the eyes are moving around.
Play that part.
Have you ever, like, a few things, like, I mean, do you feel like, have you ever felt strong? I know, man. Like, have you ever felt strong enough conviction towards anybody to be so fucking stupid publicly? You know what I mean? Like, I have hated people, right? I have really not felt
With
right towards
passion.
people. Yeah, and there's people that I'm still like fundamentally against, but based on my beliefs, and also I have bad feelings towards people personally. But at no point in time am I going out there and making myself look like a jackass
No.
Oh, yeah,
on the
yeah.
internet on behalf of trying to, like, because at the end of the day, like, if you're over than 15 years old and you're doing shit like that, you just look like a fucking dipshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
clean your gutters. You got,
Well,
you
not
got
just
time.
that,
Yeah,
it's
right.
like-
If you had time to do that shit, man, I hope exactly. I hope your gutters are clean. I hope your faces, your fences are painted. Sorry, dude. You know, I hope that your pubes are shaved and all that shit.
Yeah. All your ducks in a row?
Yeah, you know.
Then shut the fuck up.
Right. It's like online bullying too, to an extent. Like you're trying to get like a group of people. I don't like her personally because I think she's no better than all the others.
Yeah,
she
keeps
might not
animals
have like
too.
she has her own weird scandals that are kind of attached to her, and she's not really taking care of those cats like
Yeah,
you
she-
think that
Oh,
she
hell
is. Because
no.
I've been to that place in Florida, and let me
Really?
tell you, it's kind of fucked up.
I will say though, out of everybody there though, that dude Doc Antle, I want to meet him, and just because like
You got a harem?
he got that man he's got
Yeah.
mind control over man and beast. Like
He's
that
not even that
motherfucker.
attractive. I
That's
don't
what
like,
I'm fucking
it's
saying, bro. He
mind-boggling.
looks like Mr. Perfect.
He
A
has.
little bit.
yeah, he does.
Maybe he has a
Like
giant
Kurt-
Hulk.
Kurt
I'll
Hennig.
never not see
Kurt
that.
Hennig.
Maybe,
Yeah, like-
maybe he got a baby arm.
I mean, dude, he definitely.
No.
I mean, I don't know, man. That dude,
Yeah,
he's
that
got
guy-
mind control. He went to that place.
He got micro penis.
Nah, man, he got mind control. I know.
Yeah.
He may have a micro
he's,
penis.
he's a master
like-
manipulator for sure.
But
like,
he-
you could
Oh yeah,
tell.
he seems creepy as shit.
Did you watch the special on him?
Yeah.
That season about him is wild as hell. But he went to a place called Yogaville, which is not very far from here.
Yeah,
And man, you know what? There's like this.
there's
I
a
have this-
documentary about that
I know.
fucking
About
place.
About that place?
Yes.
I know, and because
It's on Netflix, dude.
You
Check
know what?
it out.
You know what documentary everybody's talking about right now, though, right?
Yeah, the Nickelodeon shit.
Yeah.
man, that dude.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were talking about it before it was a thing.
Oh yeah. Him
If
and
you go
his,
back a few episodes. You'll
him
hear
and his foot pool. So they finally,
Man.
they went into detail about a bunch of that shit. Like, like I have not seen anything other than like a short clip of it. I knew the story of the dude from Head of the Class, but I did not know the other stories. Like there were actual pedophiles on set, and kids were getting molested. From what I've gathered, so they said it's a tough watch at certain points. Apparently, Drake Bell's part is apparently really hard
Yeah,
to watch.
that's really hard because it's like you already know like some of the things that he got in trouble for, and it's like a cyclical pattern. When it happens to you, you end up doing it to somebody else. So like when he talks about it, like he can't even get it out. Like he's like, imagine like the worst things that you can do to somebody, a little kid, as a grown man. And that's what he did. So you pretty much know that it's forcible sodomy. Like that's what happened to him. And like
probably even weirder than that.
Yeah,
like that's
like, I mean,
that's
when
just
they-
our vanilla asses.
when they go over like the report, it was with objects and all kinds of other stuff. And it's like,
Jesus
man, he was
Christ.
just like a
They
kid.
beat that guy to death yet?
No, I don't know what happened.
No, that's a
yeah,
weird thing. These
no, yeah.
motherfuckers are getting passes
Yeah,
left
so
and
he
right.
didn't
Like,
even
how
get,
are
like,
these
he
dudes
did-
even walking?
Right, he didn't even get like a long jail sentence.
This should
I'm
be
sure it was
treated-
like short as hell because he had so many people on his side.
This should be
speaking on his
treated the
behalf.
same way that the Me Too movement. This is like even more like I'm not saying that like the women aren't oppressed, but kids are like totally defenseless, and we should respond the same way we did for this Harvey Weinstein stuff. For these guys should open up these cases again and like look at charge these motherfuckers.
Right.
Like
You know
they
the
don't need to be around.
You know what the problem is, though? The problem is that the people that have to open up and make these charges are getting down with the fucking with the kid booty shit. Like
Yeah.
that's and that.
Well,
and
they do
that's,
say that
I don't give a
there's
shit.
a lot of child trafficking. That was one thing that like it's hard to even talk about that stuff now because of all the Pizzagate stuff and the 4chan like conspiracies. But there is like if you go on YouTube and you look up like there are specific groups of people that like will go around and like find where these like sex trafficking and child trafficking like pass points are. I've watched a few of them and it is disturbing because you like they'll go into something that's like a shed and find like a bunch of fucking like kids clothes and fucking like mattresses all over the place and like be like we just missed them and shit like that. And sometimes they'll catch these people and it's like that shit is real. Like and it sucks that it's conflated by like crazy people talking about fucking like adrenochrome and fucking like crazy shit and not just addressing the fact that like that's happening at all.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't like beat them to death. Like anybody that like fucking takes children and sells them or buys children or traffics anybody, like we should take them out of the gene pool or like out of existence. Like that's one of the few times where I'm like, yeah, like like there should be a death penalty. Like I reserve it for special things, like fucking with kids. Like that's instant.
Yeah, it's such a weird. It's like, and it gets crazier and crazier the more the time goes on and the more revelations are made. The amount, not the amount of, but the lack of the amount of attention that it gets. Number one, media wise, it gets a little bit. We know about it a little bit, but
you don't hear when there's a big bust. You don't like they should put those people. They'll put a murderer on TV. Yeah, they should put the child molesters there first because they're like the murderers.
We want to see what they look like.
Yeah, right.
I want to know like
murderer. You're like you got him
right.
But
I'm constantly looking at that list.
Oh
like the sex offenders in my area, just because I have a teenage daughter and a teenage son and a toddler. Like I don't want
like the segment we did on Dirtbag, like putting child molesters on blast. Literally, that was why it was there. Because fuck that shit. People like some people legitimately to this day probably don't know there's a sex offenders list where you can look at. Like they just don't even know. Until I had a kid, I didn't know about it, and like that's some important. Like that's one of the few services that the United States, pretty much does in every state. Where they're like, Florida's even harder on it. They make you put a big ass red sign in your yard. Like that's. Yeah.
But there's quite a few.
Yeah, and you know what the saddest part is? So I know in Manassas, I don't know how it is out here. In Manassas specifically, there were two spots where they were the most of them, and it was both of them were low-income areas. One was Old Centerville Gardens, and I think the other one was either Westgate or Cumberstone. So it was definitely like there'll be like 3 or 4 in one apartment building.
It's because they can't find a job. Like when you're
nobody wants to hire a goddamn child molester.
So like when I went to Florida, I was hanging out with my buddy Rob. Shout out to Rob. I'm gonna see you next week, guy. Anyway,
Rob guy.
Yeah. So like we were driving by like this mobile home park or whatever, and he's like, check out that place over there. That's called Pervert Park. And I'm like, really? Why is it called that? He's like, fuck it, they're child molesters. Look it up, man. So like right. So I definitely looked it up, and like there's like a red dot everywhere within that. It's just full of. That's where they live. That's where they go in Florida. Apparently, they're pretty much like in one certain area in the St. Pete region.
They're
like the armpit of Tampa.
The armpit of Tampa.
So yeah. Pervert Park.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. But Pervert Park, all that shit aside, I think it's crazy. It's like the hyper elite that are just getting the pass. You know,
yeah, right.
There's enough circumstantial shit there, and I don't give a fuck like if it is circumstantial or whatever.
I definitely don't get into the conspiracy theories like you do, but I heard one the other day that made sense for Ghislaine Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
Her fucking sister works for the it's either World Health Organization or the World Bank. And,
they're probably both.
But it's like, and once you like, that's some big shit.
Yeah.
I definitely think she's getting a little bit of either that or she got mad information. They're like, don't kill. We either kill her or we leave her alone and hope she don't say shit.
Like, just where does that become?
Pay her money.
How does that become a thing that you desire? Like, how fucking like?
So I think, like, from what I understand, the theory that I think is the most credible, it was some type of organization, or it was set up by some organization like the CIA or Mossad to get dirt on public people to be able to manipulate them in their opinion. And a lot of the people that would go to that place had favorable opinions of things that would come up about different subjects. They also, it was weird because they haven't really released the list, but there's a lot of people that like they've come out and said were there, and there are a lot of intellectuals and a lot of political people. So they think it's like some type of CIA or Mossad thing where they're like, you like to molest kids, you're gay, like the same way they would talk about like the place Bohemian Grove. That's where they get dirt on you.
Jesus, bro. Well,
Bohemian Grove is real, and that shit is creepy as shit. They have a fucking
right.
a thing right in front of a big statue of Moloch that they fucking sacrifice an effigy of a baby in front of. And Moloch was a Semitic god that people sacrifice babies to. So, and these dudes like dress up like druids, and they have fucking like torches, and they stand around this little fake lake, and like the voice of Walter Cronkite comes out of these little speakers, and he's like, "We are here."
Oh my God.
It's real, and that shit's on camera. That's what, all right.
hilarious.
So remember that crazy dude Alex Jones that like went super crazy. Or in the early '90s, he was just like he was anti like George Bush Jr. He was anti a bunch of shit. He was like, but he snuck in because he looked super fucking white. He just like wore a polo, and he walked in through the gates, and they didn't like do anything for like 20 or 30 minutes, and they took video of like all kinds of shit, like the ceremony, everything. They call it the ceremony is like what I think it's called the cremation of care, and that's what like Walter Cronkite says. Like his shit is nuts. If you look it up, like
I feel you.
But the statue of Moloch is like crazy. It reminds me of the scene. This is what I thought when I saw it. Remember that movie Dragnet, with Dan Aykroyd
with the snake?
Yeah, remember when they go into that fucking like I think it's like a biker thing or like some type of satanic thing.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that. Like a bunch of people like dressed in the same things, being like, "Oh."
Man, that's just weird.
Yeah, it's just. I'm not saying it's like they're planning everything. They worship the devil. It's just odd. Like y'all, like you couldn't convince me and fucking like my friends would be like, "Let's go out in the woods and burn a fake baby and dress like druids." I'd be like, "No, nigga, what's wrong with you?"
I mean, it
All right,
sounds like it might be a good time.
But it's a bunch of dudes. There's no women allowed. It's no women allowed.
Oh, fuck that then.
No
I'm
chicks,
not
man. That
invited
shit's
to
gay.
the party.
No, man, that shit's gay, man.
Yeah, I want to suck a dick over here. I can't have you looking at me.
Fuck y'all
Try to
dirty
suck this
ass
baby's
party
dick.
anyway.
Hey, remember Cuba Gooding Jr. when he got all wild in that club and he's like, "Somebody come suck this baby's dick," and like, dude, that's like probably one of my favorite things on the internet ever.
I'm obviously on drugs.
He's wild as hell, man. That shit is fucking no joke, man. I want to party with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Whatever happened to that guy?
I hate it. I hate it when celebrities like go out and do like wild shit, and people are like, "Oh my god, that's disgusting," and that person shouldn't like be able to be in public and all that shit. I'm like, no, fuck that. I'm trying to be around it. Like, that's like why I love Coke, just not for me. Like,
Yeah.
That's why I just.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Is he in jail for a long time now?
This is 4 years ago.
Oh damn.
Whoa, did he
I didn't
tax
know
evasion?
Oh
that.
yeah. He's
Tax evasion?
no forcible touching.
Pee-pee touch?
Oh no.
Oh no, not the pee-pee touch.
Well, now we know. He's a piece of shit too.
God damn, man.
damn.
What is going on out there? Like,
It's like I said,
Let's
it's
see,
cyclical. These people got touched when they were kids.
Yeah, that's true
Like
story,
you have to
man.
think they're
That's-
actors, so
yeah.
they start young, right? They start young and then they get diddled and they end
Yep.
up being diddlers when they get older because they don't
All
talk
right,
about
so
it and there's no therapy.
Wasn't a kid, but he did grab some lady's titties in Times Square.
Jesus.
in Times Square?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man. Was he on like US, was it Wake Up Television or what do they call it? Good Morning America?
It gets better. He is creepy. On October 10th, he was indicted on a separate and additional sexual abuse charge. And then in 2020, 30 women accused him of unwanted sexual touching.
Good.
Gooding
Google
was
it, Google
formally
it.
charged in 3 incidents, which resulted in misdemeanor charges of forcible touching and third-degree sexual abuse. In August of 2020, a woman filed another suit against him for raping her in 2013. The two parties came to a settled agreement in 2023. As a result of the settlement, Gooding will not face trial. Despite the settlement, Gooding's lawyers insisted that the woman had consensual sex with him and bragged afterwards to others that she had had sex with the celebrity. In 2020, he pleaded guilty to forcibly touching a woman. In 2018, the woman said he kissed the waitress on her lips.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
It's weird, but
Wow.
she should have slapped him.
Where's
But
damn?
If
I-
somebody did that, I would definitely raise a rev. Like, yo,
It depends. Like,
this guy.
all right, so like, if
I don't
it,
give
if
a shit if he's a celebrity or not.
Oh, no, no,
what
no.
if it was Arnold?
So like, all right. So
What if it was Arnold? See?
No, no. So
That's hard.
See?
But I get it. I get it. There's two different
I'd
ways
let
this could
Arnold
happen,
kiss me.
right? There could be he was talking to her, misconstrued social cues, and kissed her because he was intoxicated, or he's just walking by being like, "I'm Cuba Gooding Jr." Nah.
It doesn't matter if you miss social cues. You should ask.
Yeah, no,
Especially if you just met somebody.
okay,
You
yeah, yeah.
ask for. You don't
So,
just
they
like
don't- they don't really-
assume like
Oh, no,
they
no, no,
want
no.
you to kiss them. That's
So
fucked up.
no, it is fucked up, but at a certain point,
I would straight up jack somebody in the
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
if they
I
did.
think that's like that would be most women's or pulling away and making not. I don't want to say making a scene, but making it known that like, hey, me, you, like like making yourself known. Typically, it doesn't like end it in charges, but he also has been known to be like, from what I've seen, very intoxicated. I've seen videos of him very, very drunk.
Dude, you gotta look at the
So-
one. I'm sorry. Somebody come suck this baby dick.
So for me, I think he probably there was nothing social cues. He was like, "I'm David Gooding Jr. Hey baby," and like
Yeah.
probably walked up and grabbed her
like,
and laid one
aggressive.
on. Yeah, and not like.
Because
Oh,
I mean, I
because-
agree. Like charges seems, but it depends on the circumstance.
But
and how,
like he also seems
aggressive
like he
and-
gets gropey. So
Yeah, fuck that.
yeah, like he could have missed
Mr.
the grope
Groper.
and just kissed her. You know what I'm saying? Like he seems creepy. So I don't think any of these women are like not telling the truth or not like justifying their anger with old slappy hands. Like that's a lot of charges.
Yeah, exactly.
and especially the like. All right, I'm not saying that you should never settle a case, but a rape case, if you didn't do it, you should never settle.
Yeah,
like-
seriously, that means you fucking did it, and I don't care what your lawyer.
But you also should be very like careful with who you put your penis in for that very reason. If you have any type of money or notoriety,
In or around.
see, like I feel like that's
just because.
victim blaming to
No,
the,
no, no,
to-
no, no.
to an
No, I'm
extent.
saying for him, you shouldn't be acting like that and just going up to fucking women and being like, you should like. He should protect himself by not being a piece of shit.
or
Wait.
just not. It doesn't matter how much money or how like famous he is. Just don't be a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, but
That's,
like,
yeah, that
like,
goes without saying.
Don't
I mean,
protect
in general.
protect yourself. No, bro. Like
no, as a dude to not be a piece of shit is a good thing, right?
right.
Right. So people should teach dudes that like because people get inflated egos when they have money.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
so and with cocaine that's gonna come. So like so who
This is what I hate cocaine.
yeah like so those
When it causes this.
it's very obvious what this dude is. He's a creepy dude that's like I'm rich. So like
Yeah.
somebody
I think
should be
even if he wasn't rich, he'd still be a creepy dude.
Yeah, yeah, but he-
so
but he
there's
wouldn't-
my argument.
he, no he definitely would be. He seems like it, but he has nothing but free time because he's rich
Well,
now. And
I
he's-
think-
and like it seems like he just runs around like because there's a lot of charges.
I don't
in
think
a
Let
he's
me
rich
just-
anymore.
How about this? How
yeah,
about
yeah,
this?
he's in jail. But
How about-
30 women, that's like a
Yeah,
that's a lot
that's a
of
lot.
you are definitely every night doing this if 30 women have stepped
Yeah,
forward.
that's just a small fraction of the actual
yeah, that,
of the
like,
actual victim.
Yeah.
But also, here's something to think about too. It's like, how do you put yourself in a situation where there's ambiguity of that sort, right? Like, I just
Cocaine,
feel,
this dude-
but even if you're on cocaine and you're hanging out, if the context of the situation, if there's any ambiguity in it, you should probably just err on the side of caution and not go for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
if the woman's like, oh boy, do some yayo off my titties and
Yeah.
and do that, yeah, well
Don't do
then
that.
hey, listen,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's consensual and everybody signed paperwork and it's good, like,
Yeah,
and
you
all
gotta
this shit. Yeah, like, whatever. But I'm saying, if you're gonna go do that shit, I think the thing in general, the rule of thumb for everybody in the world should be, if there is an essence of ambiguity in the air, just go home. It's like what's his face said in Pulp Fiction. John Travolta, he's like, make yourself a drink, go home, masturbate, go to bed. Like, that's how you handle that situation.
Yeah, like,
and that goes for everybody.
I also think that when when people are like, oh, he was on drugs, or oh, he's on cocaine. No, that darkness within him, that's there.
oh yeah, that's
It
there.
is there. He just might be free with it when
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
intoxicated.
That's
but
more
that
what I'm saying.
shit's still there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
Bill
he's still a
Cosby was
piece of shit.
Bill Cosby's still a rapist. Like,
Yeah.
That's what I'm not trying to discount his actions, but looking at it, it's like, whoa, this dude is a fucking animal. He's fucking coked up, fucking like drunk. That's fucking going around like fucking.
I didn't look into it. Was he on coke?
Yeah, he had like that dude. Is just like a shark, just like a predator. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Put
that.
a drop of water, aka alcohol or cocaine, and he's gonna like
Arrgh,
it anyway.
like-
But let's be real, he's still a predator.
Oh yeah. He's probably like, he did that shit probably when he was
Not
a
Dr.
teenager.
Huxtable.
Oh, Huxtable was. He had bits about it when he was younger. He was doing that
Yeah.
shit since his mid-20s.
Dude, didn't
Yeah.
you
Fuck
see?
that dude.
Didn't I send you that Prim's Hood Cinema when
Yeah.
he does the sleepy time? It's like the sleepy
Dude.
time barbecue. And at the end of it,
everybody's fucking.
Like, yeah, and at the end of it, everybody's
Hey.
fucking. And then when the little kids go for it, he's like,
No.
he slaps it out of his hand.
Oh,
Yeah, Bill Cosby. Like I don't want to say I had arguments with people on my dad's side of the family, but they definitely had opinions. Like, he was just trying to buy BET, and this is a conspiracy. I'm like, 50 different people of
Yeah.
many different races who have had connections with this dude that were close enough that where they worked for him, like they've known him, they were fellow actors that woke up and they were disheveled in their clothing after being given a drink.
yeah.
He had a bit early in his career when he was still wearing suits and not sitting down talking about, it was like when he was younger talking about slipping people Mickeys.
Yeah.
He did that shit
Yeah.
to at least one, and that's enough to put him in jail for the rest of his life.
Well,
And
he's out now because
Yeah.
because
Because they fucked
Money,
up.
money, money, money.
Nah, somebody got paid off, but it was because somebody fucking like signed a deal with him saying he wouldn't go to jail if he said this shit, and then he said something, and they basically fucked themselves.
yeah.
It's like, what about the next charge? Like, it should have been like automatically like that. He should have like the next person should have got their trial.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But you know,
I don't care if he's old, man. He fucking did that shit when he was young,
yeah.
and his eyes still work. That's not
You know what-
that's not society's problem. That's his problem.
You know what
He
the
dealt
biggest
with that shit.
Oh, I'm
biggest
not-
crime
I'm
he
not
really
just
committed-
like he's old. I'm just saying.
Well,
like,
that's what a lot of
it's not
people-
going to happen because they're not going to waste the resources on that. He'll die the second he gets wheeled.
Yeah,
in
he's
that
a
fucking
pariah.
place.
Like, I know he tried to do stand up after that, and like I think he did one show, and then like the venue or somebody canceled it, like the promoter. They
They're
were
like, we can't do this.
yeah, like we're gonna burn in hell if we keep.
Yeah, like, or they're gonna have he's gonna have a shit ton of fucking like women, like angry women, just sitting.
Yeah,
in
what
the
if
they
the
just
whole-
keep holding them- they
heckling
put 'em out-
it?
yeah, put
Yeah,
'em
that
out
would
to-
be some
hanging 'em out to
savage
dry.
shit if like some like women's rights organization or
I'd
some
love
like
to watch it though.
or like bought all the tickets and gave them to like his former victims, and where they were the only people there.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow, George, that's a good one.
That- dude,
good.
that
That's
would be savage. That they should do that.
He would tell his jokes and like you could
No
hear,
one.
no one would laugh. You could hear a pin drop, like, ping. And at the very
Oh,
end, like
he would
they
eat
just start
shit.
screaming obscenity.
Rapist.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you what though, one of the biggest crimes
Oh.
that man committed was by pulling the Jello pudding pops off the shelves.
Yeah, you
What
ruined
the fuck? That was a bomb. Those things were the fucking bomb,
best.
dude. And the new ones that came out, that
Suck.
ain't the same. It's
It-
not the
it-
same.
It don't got that outer layer that's a little piece of ice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
It's
That
like
shit
a
was like the
refreshing, crisp, like
Yeah.
icy layer.
like
Y'all
the
kids don't
icy-
know about this shit, do you? You know about all that ribs, but you don't know about Jello pudding pops. Not
It was
one goddamn cent of
the icy foreplay before you dove into a 6-inch pudding pop
it. Oh, dude, kids these days.
consensually.
You know what kids do know about these days still, and it's a novelty when it comes by, and it doesn't come by that often, but you'll hear it. The fucking chimes from a fucking ice cream truck.
Hell yeah.
I still get excited, even if I'm not getting anything. I'm like, there's ice cream afoot. We had 2 ice cream trucks in my old neighborhood. It was the hood. We had Good Humor, which was this dude that looked like, I think he was from Ghana. And he had a good shit. And then there was another dude that I'm pretty sure was selling weed because we called him Bad Humor. But they had the WWF ice cream sandwiches. So
yeah, those things sucked, but they look cool.
Yeah.
They were like that dry ass cookie with like that fucking spongy ass like quote unquote ice cream that was in the middle that didn't really melt. It just kind of like
Bad Humor.
slumped.
It was Bad Humor for a reason. It didn't have Rocket Pops, but it had those ones that were like chocolate and banana.
Yeah, man.
I didn't like have the joys of that, but I do remember. So, my father was in the military, and in Germany, at least the ice cream trucks that would visit the base, they had soft serve.
Oh,
so we were fancy in that regard.
Oh, sport.
So I would get this little dish called spaghetti ice cream, and it was basically vanilla ice cream pushed through an extruder, so it looked like spaghetti. And then
good use of the term extruder, by the way.
Right, and then like it had strawberry sauce on it, right, and white chocolate shavings for the parmesan, and like little chocolate like.
Where was this at?
It was in Germany. It was
das ist gut.
Yeah, das ist good. It was in Frankfurt, Germany. It was on an army base, and I would always get that one, and it was so good. It was so good, and I wish I could get that again. Like when I hear it, I'm like, oh, I wish I could get the ice cream spaghetti thingy, and they don't have that here because America kind of sucks.
Man, you know what though? I'll tell you. No, one of my the best meals I ever had in my life was at a restaurant called Into Blue, and it was a May 23rd of 2005. It was my 25th birthday, and my boy Paul.
There it is.
What is this?
Yes, that's it right there. Spaghetti ice cream. Yum.
So
good.
Well, they did one there, and they did a saffron ice cream, and they put it through. They did it through. They did the hand extruder at the table, and then they did cherry ice cream meatballs, and then I forgot what they shaved on top. It wasn't chocolate. It wasn't white chocolate, but it was done that way, and it was at a place called Into Blue, which was, and it, like I said, it was the top 5 meals I've ever had in my life. That restaurant was really cool. I don't know if you remember it or not. It was in Penn Quarter.
It sounds so familiar.
It was like super, super high, man. I'm fortunate that I had a rich ass friend that decided he was going to take me and 5 of the homies out and drop. So this is a true story. The bill was like $3,500, and then so they had his Benz G-Wagon downstairs, or no, it was the M500. That's one he had. He had the M500, and they lost the keys to it.
Oh shit!
And he had to go out of the country. Expensive. Yeah, he had to go out of the country. So they ended up having to comp like half. They ended up comping like half the meal. It was like a few $1,000, dude. And then the best part was though, because he was going out of the country, I got to pick up the car. So I got to whip. Oh yeah, I got to whip that thing. I would go and park. I would parking lot pimp in front of a Camelot and Good Guys and that motherfucker. Like I wait until it was like time for everybody to get out. I just like go sit there and be like, yeah, what's up, and then not do it for real.
I once saw a person that shall not be named almost get like beaten up and his pockets run by a stripper at Camelot.
His name?
Never move to a secondary location with a stripper. You're going to get your pockets run.
Yeah.
Dude, ain't that the truth though, man?
What are you doing?
When you look at somebody like, yo, bro, no, give me the keys right now. Like we are. Nah.
Listen, again, if you find yourself in a point of safety ambiguity, also don't go.
Like,
don't go alone anywhere.
Like that intuition, that's a real thing. That is your fight or flight. And when it's doing weird things, you should fucking listen to it because that is your fight or flight reaction, like telling you, yo, there's something wrong with the situation right now. You need to get the fuck out of Dodge.
Some people just depress that shit with alcohol. Like it just goes away, and they're like, I don't care. I'll fucking fight a tiger. Oh, they're cute. Like like people like look at like a bar on like a bar that looks like it's jumping on any given Saturday night. two of those dudes are gonna fight each other just because
Yeah.
they're like, I'm ready to go. So like,
Yep, for sure.
speaking of,
Come on.
come on. The goddamn ice cream spaghetti is a classic German treat. Spaghetti ice cream has been a favorite of children and adults for decades. Learn to make one of these at home with just vanilla ice cream, strawberries, sugar, and white chocolate.
Yep, that's just so good. I got it's nostalgia. Like that's what I got. Like I would always get the spaghetti ice cream.
That's
Because
wild.
the ice cream trucks in Germany are much different than the ones
Yeah,
here.
they sound banging.
Well,
Like we just have
they make
prepackaged.
they basically make their own stuff. Like it's,
like a cold
I'm sure
stone.
it's different now, like where it's like prepackaged shit, because of the time. But I'm talking about like the late '80s, early '90s. That's
Yeah, I think in America, especially the generation that grew up in the 80s and early 90s, prepackaged shit was the bomb because everybody's mom made food. So like when you got that store bought shit, it was like, ooh. Look
Well, you
at
saw the
this.
commercials, you
Oh
know.
yeah, like Viennetta and shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was
but
like the
still,
height of
it still
sophistication.
is. It still is.
you
I don't
can
give a
order
fuck.
it in like there's I think someplace in Germany.
Lidl
like,
has them, and
Really?
yeah, Lidl has, and they I feel Aldi had them as well too for a minute.
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you should
Yeah,
probably
Lidl
go to
had 'em
Lidl.
for a minute.
Lidl is like the good version of Aldi. They got
I know,
fresh
like,
bread.
You work? Don't you work close to one?
No, I used to.
Oh,
Man,
Now-
Viennetta. If you had Viennetta,
I
and
will
Grey
be bo-
Poupon,
I will be by one on Saturday. So if I see one, I will
you
pick
better
one up.
you better fucking bring one. Otherwise, like I'm canceling you.
nah, it's like
Not
if I
bringing
win
ice
if I win the
cream.
lottery,
What did you get canceled
right.
for?
If I win the
Was it
lottery,
like sexual abuse? Nah, he didn't bring the Viennetta. Fuck that nigga.
yo, if I win the lottery, there's gonna be there'll be some subtle signs, and one's gonna be when I pull up in the Bentley, and I'm gonna have a modified freezer put into the back seat, and it will house both Grey Poupon as well as Viennetta.
Custom size.
Yeah, you know what? I'd have a charcuterie board. Like everybody, like everybody's got these, like, you know, they got these the cooler with the fucking the champagne bottles and the champagne flutes and all that. Nah, I want a charcuterie board like that I can, like, you know, that comes out like a cutting board that like folds up and like comes out of like a console thing or whatever, that you can just, you know, and have some like, and have like a refrigerator that's at refrigerator temperature that holding some nice charcuterie and shit, and then a freezer separate strictly for Viennetta. But it would have to be like, you know, it'd be like you know, really, you know, contoured, and also we'd probably need a separate surface to serve the Viennetta on, because you can't just raw dog Viennetta. You got to put that shit on a nice platter.
Yeah.
You know, a doily underneath it might be a nice
Right.
touch.
Got to be chilled too, to keep it from like
Yeah.
just melting
Mhm.
immediately.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was the
like,
problem
I
with
remember
that.
the commercial, the crunch sounds.
Man, I can remember my parents getting those things and my mom like getting one, and then we would eat like part of it like at dinner, and then I'd get baked as shit and come home from wherever I was coming home from and just go downstairs and just house the rest of it. Just get myself like complete gastrointestinal distress by the way of like 3 pounds of
Hell yeah.
of layered chocolate. Man, how the fuck they do that is anybody's guess, man. It's magic. It's
Yeah.
it's some like
So good.
Frenchman magic.
Yeah. It's so late.
C'est
in the day.
magnifique.
I love
C'est
French
si
food.
bon.
It's all good.
C'est
Like
si
French
bon.
food. I've never had any sort of French dish that wasn't good. Like I've had coq au vin, and
Yeah.
I love that. I actually fucking hate chicken legs. That is like the bane of my existence. I can't stand it. I don't like the like weird cartilage thing. I always end up like swallowing. It goes sideways in my throat. Like I hate that shit. But I will eat that dish because it's made with that and cooked in burgundy, and it's just so fucking yummy. I had it. We went to some French place in right next to the Anthem. I forgot what it was called.
Au jus something.
Yeah, it was fucking phenomenal. They had that, and they had macarons with like a pate
Yeah,
kind
the
of.
duck pate.
Ooh, yeah, duck pate in between two raspberry macarons. It's so fucking good. It melted in my mouth. I was like, oh my god, this is ridiculous. Yeah,
I had the
pretty
steak.
fucking good.
I had the steak frites.
Hell yeah, man. Those frites.
Yeah, the frites.
Yeah, man. Le steak frit, c'est chouette, super cool.
The French place I ever went was in was it New York City?
Yeah, it was New York City.
It was in like I think outside of Williamsburg or somewhere. Even the waiter was fake French, and they brought me a mocha, right? And I looked at this motherfucker. He probably was like, "What is up with these American?" Because like he brings me out this like it didn't have a handle on it. It was just like a soup bowl for a mocha. I was like, "Yo, you trying to kill me? What we doing here?"
That's how they.
Oh no, it was badass. Like towards the end, it was like ridiculous because I'm like, it's good.
like a little kid.
They call that cafe au lait, and it's half milk and half coffee. So it's cut. You know, it's not like you're doing a straight like speedball.
No, that was hilarious to me because it was like I probably looked like the most like uncultured person on earth because I just looked at him like what is this?
Yeah,
but the croissant was delicious.
The pressed coffee was so fucking good. I just remember how strikingly handsome he was, and I had the go here like shirt. Like we just went to go see that show, and he's like, "Oh, are you here because it's French and you went to go see a French metal band?" And like his eyes were like glistening. Like I was like,
"Do you like my tight fitting jeans and this bulge?" Bulging at you.
He was quite handsome, and of course, apparently, all the neighborhood ladies, because like every few seconds, like a lady would come in and go, "Oh, Paul, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. I was gonna stop by this morning."
Oh yeah,
they called me Le Saucisson on the streets of France.
Yeah,
women
so
be
he,
like,
he was,
just feel
he was
like
quite popular amongst the locals.
I will show you my Grey Poupon.
No.
Suce ma bite.
When he said that, I just giggled. I was like,
J'aime bien suce le chat.
Very good coffee. I wish I remembered the name of that place because I would definitely recommend it. But if you're in that area, I think
it's called Paul's Sexy Ass French Restaurant.
Well,
I don't think that's what it's called.
It's called Paul Balls to the Wall with Paul. It's called
It's called Big Ass Coffee with Paul.
Yeah, Big Ass Coffee. Don't ask questions.
Best
with Paul.
French pressed coffee you'll ever have in your life.
Yeah,
like
from a
when he
Frenchman.
made it, like I could smell the coffee like being like
He was
freshly
smoking a
grinding
cigarette
it.
over it. He had a nice mustache. He looked like Serge Gainsbourg.
No, he had
He's
no
like,
beard.
Bonnie
he
and
clean shaven, but
Clyde.
long hair. Like he was
Bonnie
handsome.
and Clyde.
Ooh.
Oh, French people. I think I saw a funny ass meme this week actually, and I copied it. And it's funny because I grew up. My family is Belgian, but French Belgian, and like I'm first generation, which is weird because I'm a super black sheep. But it's true, man. I was born in the hood, so I think there was something in the water that definitely affected me. But yeah. So French people. It was what did this meme say? It said like, wouldn't it be weird if French people were real and not just some aesthetic for that movie Ratatouille? And I thought that was funny, man. I was like, that's funny, man. French people not being real, but no, my mom talks like this. If you ever meet her, she's a very funny. You've seen a naked picture of her. She she used to have the picture of the naked woman at Vinova.
Oh, really? Well, now I know.
That was my mom. Yeah, right. We had a picture of my mom's boobies. So when people like. So one time this woman took it off the wall.
What?
Yeah,
Why?
took it off the wall and turned it around. And I came out and I put it right back on the wall. And she's like, "Oh, it was just a little offsetting me." I was like, "Well, look." I was like, first of all, that's a painting. I was like, "You're in my restaurant." I was like, "I wouldn't go into your house and do that shit. If I was offended by something, I just wouldn't look at it."
Yeah.
I was like, secondly, I was like, "That's not a painting of what you think it is." And she was like, "Well, it's a naked woman." I said, "No. That is the first restaurant that I was a regular at, was my mommy's titties." You know what I'm saying? And so it's a nod to
her
that.
eyeballs were just like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I'm offended."
No, I think she knew that she had overstepped a bound, and that no matter what I said past that, as long as I didn't spit on her, I was gonna be in the right and she would be in the wrong. So it was I guess kind of well taken, but. That's not the only time, man. We had we had that one. We had
protest.
Yeah, we had the protest. We had the protest there.
God damn it! I wish I'd have been there that day. I'd have been like, "Yo, I worship Satan." What up, dog? What up, dog?
man.
Hail
See,
Baphomet.
Nah,
Yeah.
so see, that's the problem. You can't with people like that. You have to let them fall on their own sword, right? So I just hit them with a couple of biblical verses. It was cool. I was just like, yo, I googled or whatever, like don't judge lest ye be judged. Shit, like dropped a couple of little hot one-liners on him, and it shut the dude up. Number one, and then number two, like the funniest part was when the woman said, she said, I'm just worried for you. And I was like, don't be worried for me. I'm doing all right, you know? And she was like, no, your soul's in peril. And I was like, if you think that my soul's in peril for this painting that's on the wall, you have no idea what happens behind closed doors, sister. And I assure you that is much, much more the cause for my soul being in peril. You know, back the
She
fuck
should have
up,
been there when that
please.
crazy
I said
woman
that to her.
pulled out
It was, her eyes were like, and because I broke character because I was very diplomatic until that point in time, when she said your soul's in peril, and I was like, listen, sister, when you talk about if you know what, I put my soul in peril by doing the cool things that I do. Don't fucking chalk it up to having good taste in art. All right.
Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up going to sort of going to church and just having a belief in God. But there's a lot of people that believe in certain religions that it seems like sometimes they care a lot more about other people's relationship with God rather than their relationship with God, and that is where a lot of the fundamental issue lies.
Yeah.
And people sort of get into any belief or ideology, and they'll start to judge people, and it makes it easier for them to judge people on everything. You know, I know people in my family that they're very black and white in their thinking. So I like Coke, I like this football team, and everybody else that doesn't like this team, fuck them, like that type shit. And it's like, y'all are weird.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Down to the way
strange
you
to me.
get your food cooked.
Like,
you
why
don't eat
not
your,
put
you
all
don't eat
that
your steak
energy
well done.
in
That's weird.
judging somebody else by what they do or what they celebrate?
No.
Why don't you put that much energy in helping people? Because
Well,
isn't that what
yes.
Christianity is?
Well, I think
It's
everything.
helping, like any sort of religion. It's
and I think a
loving
lot
your
of people are
neighbor,
like that.
right?
There's-
Like
there's a lot of-
despite anything that
Well,
they're doing.
I think it's any ideology, any single ideology that anybody falls into, where they start really judging and othering people.
Yeah.
If they took that same energy and took it into self,
Right.
because that's what religion is really. You're looking at yourself, and if you just put some thought into what am I doing rather than what are they doing, we'd be all a little bit better.
Yeah, I think that
No matter what, whether it's I don't like fucking Coca-Cola, or I don't like this, because people get mad about what is it, Redskins and Cowboys. People will be arguing with each other, really, or I've seen motherfuckers break their TV over some other people playing football,
that's
after
wild,
a game,
isn't it?
and that's it. That's any ideology. That's any I'm on this side.
Man, I'll
It's
tell
dumb.
you. Yeah, a few things. I mean, number
Hug
one,
each other.
number one, only two people can judge you, right? That's
You?
God and Judy. All
Who's
right,
who Judy?
Judge
Judge
Judy,
Judy,
motherfucker.
man.
She ain't real. I'd walk out that corner. What you
Man,
gonna do?
I'm
What
telling
you
you,
gonna you
just
gonna
God.
say?
She'll
you
look
gonna-
at you and be like,
only-
"Shut up,
and-
sir.
Yeah,
And
shut
I'll
up.
be
Let
like-
me talk.
She's like, I have.
Don't don't interrupt me in my courtroom."
I'll interrupt you everywhere when you want. I'll interrupt you by the fucking motherfucking water fountain.
Judge Judy was gangster because she had vodka in her cup and she was
Oh,
wearing
that
like,
woman-
Yeah,
and she
hell
was
yeah.
wearing nipple high acid wash jeans underneath
He's
that.
like,
judge's
I'll suck somebody's
robe.
dick underneath it right now. I'm Judith Shineland. I'll suck anybody's dick in this courtroom if you whip it out. I get down. I got that. Wow.
Wop wop wop. Dude, yeah, but I think that, but also, yeah, isn't this it's crazy? I think one thing that really detracts me from really being back into being a sports fanatic is the fanaticism, right? The people that get to a point where they're fighting over a sporting event, what? That's crazy. And I think I found myself when I was younger, I think I found myself guilty of that, but then I started thinking about it on a cerebral level, and I was like, wait a minute, what am I why are you so mad? Yeah, you should get excited and enjoy the sport and shit, but
Yeah.
when it gets to the point where it comes into even and I think some shit talking is fun and that's cool as long as it gets to shit talking, but once you get into physical assault and battery and shit, that's when
Right. That's gets wild.
What?
This world is wild though. They'll fight about anything.
pedophiles, Motherfucking sports
Fucking-
fanatics.
It's time for a culling.
Straight dudes in
I'm
speedos.
telling you, we
It's
need.
time for
we-
a culling.
Yeah, we needed
Dog.
we need a cataclysmic like meteor to just like.
So-
Speaking of which,
Yes.
yes. So there's a lot of weird shit going on, like with like the outages and weird weather events, and
And the eclipses.
yeah, the solar eclipse that's coming
the
up.
eclipses.
It's gonna be April 8th. So I think we're gonna be at 90% here. So we'll still have to wear those special glasses to see him.
Is there
Kind
any
of.
way I can stand on something high and be like 96%?
No,
Oh,
no.
I can't climb a
If you
tower?
want to be in the path of totality, as they call
Ooh,
it,
that's something. Do I get
you
mutant
wanna-
powers if I get in there?
you want to
Only
be.
if you do the perennial boofing.
You want to be like in Dallas, Texas, and it's going to be like a linear upwards towards where Maine is. So it will be from Dallas, Texas. If you take like a ruler, just put it across Dallas, Texas to I believe Province, Maine. I might be misquoting what I read about it, but it will be in the Maine area. So if you want to be in that path of totality, you got to be there.
In that path of totality.
Yeah. So, and they'll have it's the event is quite different than the one in 2017 because the one in 2017 was about 2 minutes. Well, totality this year is going to be about 4 minutes, so it's twice the amount of time.
Double
And
as long.
The
Double butt
solar
cheeks.
events that have been happening, there's a lot more solar activity, so people who do see it will see that beautiful, gorgeous ring, but then they'll see like the solar flares as well, and that'll come off as like a sort of like a pink hue, like ribbons or like twirls coming off it. So everybody in Dallas, Texas will get that view, and it's going to be breathtaking. So I'm kind of jealous of that. But in that, there's a lot of crazy things going on. Like people are talking about like, oh, this is the end of times. Like these are the signs and all that. So I figured I would come up with like the 3 movies that I like, post-apocalyptic sort of like doomsday type films. And the first series, of course, is Mad Max, because who doesn't fucking love Mad Max, right? If you have not seen any of those films, you definitely should. My favorite out of all of them, and I got a little flack for it, is Fury Road. And I'm going to tell you why, because I love Charlize Theron and Tom Hardy, and I swear to God, those are like the sexiest people on the planet. Like throughout the whole
Tom
movie,
Hardy
I
got a big
secretly
old
kind of
dick.
wanted to see them kiss. Like I'm like, come on, do it. In my
What
own
if they
like,
kissed weird and he just like she just stuck her tongue out? He was like,
oh, it'd still be sexy.
No,
They're
like-
still sexy as hell. So I love that movie. It was fucking great story. And just so that you know, Furiosa is coming out soon. It will be released May 24th. That's directed by George Miller. It's going to star Chris Hemsworth, Anya Taylor-Joy.
is
which
that the
she's-
Thor?
She's absolutely beautiful. And, yep, that is definitely Thor. And,
Yo.
of course, Tom Hardy's coming back. He's a sexy
It don't matter.
motherfucker.
You said all
He's
them
coming
names.
back with
Yeah.
his big
After you
old
said-
nipples.
Yep.
You said all them names after you said Chris Hemsworth. Let me tell you, Thor is look.
Is that May 24th?
Thor the
you said
prettiest
something like
motherfucker in that whole movie.
Yes, May 24th. I don't know. Tom Hardy like kind of beats him. I like Chris Hemsworth, but Tom
You-
Hardy.
Chris Hemsworth comes
Ooh.
out on May 24th, but also Chris Kenworthy is going to be doing live comedy at Pavement on May 24th as
Ooh.
well.
Ooh, so do a double feature. So
Yeah,
go see
hosted.
Hemsworth and then go see
Go,
Kenworthy.
yes, and
Yeah.
you make sure your pants are down, your nipples are hard during both occasions.
Yeah, dude.
And shout out to Ace and Connor at Black and White Comedy, as well as Rachel and Becky and JJ and Therese. And who else at Pavement am I missing? Is Erica and
The Wu-Tang
Ashley
Clan.
and Aubrey and I don't know who else. Am I missing anybody from there?
T-Bird,
Shout out Kelly, my wife,
Junie,
kisses.
Boo Boo,
Shout out Shampoo.
Uh,
Also,
Tambourine Man.
yeah, Bucket. I love my homie Bucket.
Bucket.
Don't
All right,
forget.
alrighty then.
All right.
To the
Bring us
next,
back in.
To the next movie.
No, hold on. You know what my favorite motherfucking Mad Max movie is?
What's that?
You don't even have to ask me again.
Terradome.
Oh, Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
Thunderdome, yeah. Beyond
Yep.
Thunderdome, yeah.
She was pretty
We
badass
don't
in that.
need another hero bitch look like Storm from the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
She was pretty awesome in that, but still,
Mm-hmm.
I just have I love Charlize Theron. I think
no,
she's
she
just
hot.
gorgeous. as
All
fuck.
except for in that movie when she was Eileen Wuornos.
Oh yeah, she played a good part
She
though.
scared my boner back into my belly button.
So my next film,
What's that?
and this is funny when we were talking about like child diddlers. Well, soon there there won't be children to diddle.
Yo, you'll be
Because
you're out of victims.
In real life, like this is actually a real thing. Fertility is on the decline.
Yeah.
Like there's several factors. One of these women are waiting until they're older to have children, and unfortunately, women have a shelf life. Their eggs are not fertile
They get no
forever.
more?
Like I think about 35, your
Milk's
fertility
gone
like
bad.
sort of like declines. It incredibly, which I did IVF. I had my son at 43, so it just goes to show people are waiting longer. They have their careers, but also microplastics, poisons, and stuff
so
like that.
Is it
So
like
this is a real life thing. But the movie that I'm talking about is called Children of Men. It is not a horror movie. It is a drama. It's directed by Alfonso Cuarón. Basically, the synopsis is infertility threatens mankind and extinction, and the last child born has perished. A bureaucrat becomes the unlikely champion in the fight for survival when they find a woman has given birth to the first one in years and years and years. And so he is trying to protect her and her child and try to bring her to this like safe haven to make sure, humanity continues. So it's a really good film. It's sad in some parts, and it definitely is a drama. It's not a horror movie. It's not something that I usually like recommend, but I do like those movies that feel real, something that could really happen. And it is. It really is happening right now. So pretty good.
it's
So
wild.
yeah, and my next one, because there's always like this fear, at least for me, because we're so close to DC, that we're gonna have some sort of like nuclear weapon like land on us, and we're within the fallout, so I think it's like a week. Our range is like a week that we start exhibiting these like symptoms of dying, right? And in the U.S., I don't think there's a lot of places that you can go where you wouldn't hit it at some point, right? So this next film I recommend is Z for Sicaria. You can actually find it on Tubi right now. I don't.
Oh,
usually,
right next to the movie says like,
I don't.
you know why we paid for this house.
Right. I don't usually recommend it, but it's such a great movie. And again, it is a drama. The director's Craig Zobel. Anne Burden has been living a secluded life on her farm after an apocalyptic event when a John Loomis stumbles on her land with a failing anti-radiation suit. So she kind of like nurses him back to health, and they start forming a bond, but there's a dark secret that he is holding. So I definitely recommend that movie. Check it out on Tubi.
Yeah,
I
I love that shit.
I actually watched it
Shout
on
out
Netflix
Tubi.
when it was on Netflix first, but
Yeah.
Netflix, you
yeah,
alright.
yeah.
Netflix, you said.
Hulu, you my boo.
Netflix, you got your motherfucker.
Pluto
You got your hair dead.
and the Beho.
All right.
Netflix.
Right. So those are my three recommendations. They're really good films. Usually when I think about post-apocalyptic, I think about like either a strange weather event or something that is killing us off, like a disease or something like that, or, of course, a bomb, like something that just
I
poisons us. What's that?
28 days later.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, man.
This is the first one where they ran. That
Dude.
shit scared me. Legit scared the shit out of me when I first saw that movie. I was like, "Oh my god, they're running!
Man,
There's no winning
Not
that."
even that they were running. It's just like they look like. So zombies typically, even in like most Romero movies, they're slow and they're vicious, but they're not like a fucking animal that you're afraid of.
Right.
And like even in Dawn of the Dead, they were little bit faster, but it seemed like they could take him out relatively easily. And 28 days later, it seemed like, oh fuck, I can't even get their blood on me.
Yeah.
Like, so it's hard
like
to fight them.
That one part where the drop of blood
Hits him
drops
in
in
the
that guy's
eye.
eye, and he's like, fuck. Well, get away from me. Like, he's like, sorry, kid. You're an orphan now.
Bye.
Dude,
Yeah.
I thought they was gonna die in that tunnel when this motherfucker tries to drive a car over a car. I was like, this is bullshit right now.
I did hear that they're making another film.
28
Years
months,
later?
I think it's months.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it wasn't days.
Yeah, it's days, weeks. It was a good movie, just not as striking as the first one for me.
The first one also, I think when you make a movie, like I've thought about this before with Texas Chainsaw, it looks almost like a documentary or like so,
like found footage.
Yeah, but it doesn't have like the point of view. There's still like you're looking through like a third person view. 28 Days Later was the same way. It's grainier. It like there's lots of weird angles, like cameras falling down, and like people are like running past it. That type of feeling, and I think like that's one thing it had. The 28 weeks later, that beginning scene though is fucking nuts when they're in that house and all of a sudden all the zombies start hitting the house. That scene is fucking nuts. That is like one of the most nuts zombie like horde scenes I've ever seen in a movie, because it's like that motherfucker left his whole motherfucking family.
Like he was like, bye, fucking
bye, bitch.
He just left like a
Yeah,
fucking
that's
coward.
right. That's right.
He jumps
dude.
out
He
the
jumps out,
window.
goes and gets the boat and shit,
Yeah,
and
that
rolls
might
out.
fucking
Yeah,
piece
That
of
might
shit
be
coward.
one of the best beginnings to a movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
because it's
that's
like
good.
it seems like it's gonna be slow and you're gonna build to it. And then it's like nah. Look at
You
this
know,
eye behind his door.
because of that scene, like that dude is now typecast to me as an asshole. Like I like that. I'm like this.
You can't
when
take him serious
Yeah,
as a man
anytime
no
he shows
more.
up in another movie, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. Remember that time
He's gonna
that you
sabotage
left
everyone.
you left your wife behind to get eaten by zombies? You piece of shit.
You wouldn't
Yeah.
even trust him at a buffet. You want to eat all that
Right.
fucking.
Yeah, if I
meat
saw him in
before-
real life, it'd be on like it's like
I think like for me, like
that and Katy Perry.
it was
You know,
scary in a sense where like because they changed so fast and that jerky motion is
Oh
like
yeah.
it was like instant once it got bit or like some sort of like that got me every time. Yeah.
Is there a 28 Days Later parody porn?
I'm sure there is.
Dude,
I mean, like,
it's
there's-
like
there's-
20
what is that? You get bit,
28.
you're like, I'm so horny.
28
Ah!
it's 28 gays later.
or
Just
28
like,
dicks later.
yeah, gawk, like yeah, eating butts.
I got that guac boy.
That wop wop wop. Yo,
I
macaroni.
got that wet ass bussy.
Yeah, just don't eat the macaroni in a pot. The entire macaroni in a pot at 2 in the morning. God, I slept like shit. It was terrible, man. I'm gonna sleep so well nights. Like one of those days where I'm just so tired.
You got that carb intake.
Oh my god, it was not the carb. It was just like, I mean, I'm 43 years old, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was 2 pounds of macaroni and cheese. Also, there was like a double-decker sandwich that was also there.
Oh, see, you didn't even mention that.
Yeah, I
like,
forgot to mention that part too. And there might have been, I might have eaten also a patio's pan au chocolat as well, which is like that was like this big, which is like for people in the audience that can't see, roughly the size
Like a
of
child's football.
Yeah, exactly. It was, and it was delicious. And I have a picture of it, and I will show it to you all in a minute. Oh man,
I got a picture of what I ate.
I gotta get one of those things.
Oh my God! Shout out to Sam Rusnak, my homie. If you're listening out there, Sam, if you want to bring us some pan au chocolat, you know that we will bring you. I will give you money or trees or an HJ or whatever it is you need.
Sam, he gonna touch your dick
With my hand.
Not with his mouth. Not with his
my
mouth.
hand.
It's like a massage. It's almost like a real friendly handshake. Be good. Don't.
It's the friendliest handshake if you really think about it.
Yeah, we call it the front royal friendship.
Front royal front rub.
Hook you up with a front royal front rub, bro.
Rubbing.
Stupid.
Maybe that should be Front Royal's new. I'm gonna bring this up the next Downtown Front Royal Incorporated.
Hear me out.
Rubbing fronts in Front Royal, and like
if that
should
catches
be,
on,
that could be our new.
I just want a T-shirt.
Yeah, rubbing fronts. That should be maybe that's it. Just not even rubbing fronts and then Front Royal, Virginia. That's it. Like it doesn't even have to be in Front Royal. Just
Who's gonna make that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell the next person, the
well.
next tourist that asks me that comes into the restaurant. Shout out to the Catamount Lounge, Shannon
Rubbing
and
fronts.
Juliet and Levi and Charlie and Chris and Jonah, and then also our honorary employee Chris Bishop and also alumni of the show.
Oh, dude! So
he
to-
rocked
totally-
so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yes. So like yesterday, who played at the Catamount?
So yesterday we hosted. It was the Ancient Apes opened, and then Bishop Holstag played the second set, and they everybody has killed it. It was great. Ori and Chris, they're just amazing. We haven't had Ori wasn't on the show, and neither was Brian Mitchell, but everybody else. Phil Taylor is part of Ancient Apes, and who else was there? Man, there was George was there, Lita was there, but we were in the crowd enjoying the show. They were wide. It was good. It was a really a lot of energy, a lot of good vibes, a lot of machismo. I was definitely, my ears were ringing a little bit. I'll tell you what, I was proud of everybody that was able to communicate through that, the level of sound. But I mean, it was really good, man. It was cool to hear. It was like, being Ancient Apes was awesome because they were just so high energy, and there's so much talent in that group, just, inherently.
Seems like there are a lot of bands that are starting to play in Front Royal now.
Yeah, man, there's a little music scene starting to pick up, and it's cool.
Lita's gonna start a metal band.
You should,
Man.
Lita.
I'm not really good with like metal vocals.
All right,
I'll be
so just do
honest.
this. Cup the mic like this,
Yeah,
right,
that's
right in front of you, and you're gonna go
like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You just gotta. It's so
Something like
as
that.
you breathe, you be
I
like,
actually kind of. Yeah, I just kind of. I hurt my voice doing that. Yeah. Yeah, that's not.
but
for
then
me.
we put a lot of reverb. So go over to
Sorry.
that mic and.
Yeah. No.
So sorry, correction on the statement I made earlier. It's Bishop Van Holtzlag, and I always butcher it because I'm super baked right now, and it's just. But anyways, that's Chris Bishop and Ori Van Holtzlag, that was the show yesterday, and it's crazy how deep their sound is with only two people, right? And like, Ori plays drums and Chris plays guitar, but it seemed like you wouldn't.
It was really good. Like
Yeah.
I will say, when I heard it, it kind of reminded me of one song. It's a Monster Magnet song. That Lord, Mother, that song that's the only thing that I ever hear from them that comes on the radio. But it reminded me of that. But it also reminded me anything that you ever hear on a Quentin Tarantino movie. Like it had that kind of like bluesy rock and roll country kind of vibe to it, and I love it.
Yeah,
I thought it was great.
Chris is such a talented dude, man. Like his voice is great, and his guitar playing is so, he's just really he's one with the machine,
Yeah.
It was good, man. It was super fun, and the vibe was cool. And did you see when old man Mike he went shirtless for a minute?
No.
Remember the old dude with like the white hair and the white beard and shit? He's
Oh,
cool
yeah.
as fuck. Like I didn't say he's old because like he's not old at heart for sure. He was definitely trying to lay some pizzite to some fun young fro lines out in the crowd. But yeah, he had one point in time he was dancing with his shirt off and it was tight. I was looked over, I was like, oh man, that's great. That's great, man.
Living the dream.
It was, man. Chest out, chest out for Harambe.
Yeah,
Dicks
it
out for Harambe.
was definitely a good night, and I got to try some new drinks. I don't remember what they're called, but they were good.
You had
I had two gin gimlets.
Yeah,
they were so delicious.
What is
Yeah.
a Jim Gimlet?
It is gin,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, some lime and some other.
scissor,
Yeah,
simple scissor.
yeah. It's
And
Sip
then
it
you
on
shake
the
it,
syrup.
shake it,
Quite
and then you strain it,
tasty.
and you you garnish it with the lime and send it on its way.
Yeah.
It's a delicious drink. It's quick.
I had that one and Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Dead Men Tell No Tales. That was Shannon came up with that about she got in some oh man, what's the stuff called? I'd have to look at a picture of it, but it's an orange and hibiscus, like vermouth, and it's tight, and it's or not vermouth, liqueur.
So I don't know how this would taste, but I just thought this up because I'm very high. Coconut water, like something like I don't know what to say Malibu, but something like a coconut rum, and a little bit of lime.
Well, you put the lime in the coconut type thing,
and then you shake it all around.
Well,
you do that. You can do that.
I think it's been done. I think it's essentially what you're talking about is a pina colada.
Yeah, that's a
well,
pinot.
I don't want no pineapple in there though.
It's not usually made with pineapple.
A little bit. I think. Yeah. I mean,
that's where the pina come from.
Yeah, the pina colada. Yeah, he's right. Yeah, it's pineapple juice in the motherfucking colada.
I
like
pineapple.
I think that a good drink would be a good drink for. I don't even know what we're talking about. What were we talking about? Yeah,
drinks.
Moonwalking.
I'm not even drunk. That's the best part. Moonwalking. Yes, the best drink for moonwalking is Jesus juice.
Oh, what is that? Have you made that before?
They serve it at Neverland Ranch. It's a, it's
look, man,
it's a,
that not only that ship sailed, but
that's ignorant.
Michael like them skinny white boys. He ain't like them chubby, and I used to wear husky jeans, so like Michael wouldn't even molest me, and that's fucked up, Michael, because I was I was a good kid, I was a commodity. I got good grades and everything, and you was out here. That's fucked up. I could have a suit right now.
That comedian that did that skit, that show was like the funniest thing. I watched that thing like over and over and over again. I showed my mom, and she's like, "That's fucked up," and I'm like, "Them's the rules."
Kyle Dunnigan is the best deep fake because the deep fakes that he do still look bad. You can tell it's somebody deep faking, and that makes it even funnier.
Funny as shit, dude.
Fuck yeah, I molested them kids.
It's pretty easy too. I just gave them candy.
I'm up here in heaven. I said, I asked forgiveness before I died. They let me in. Them's the rules.
Oh man, that's messed up.
Funniest shit ever.
Oh
God.
That shit is so fucked up because it's like,
Didn't I watched that documentary with you?
Oh yeah.
When you we sat up there and just binged the whole thing, and then when the part when he was like I bent over,
Michael
he just liked to look at my butthole.
Michael nasty.
It wasn't funny, but it was also funny at the same time.
It's funny because he nasty. Michael, you nasty motherfucker.
Well, he's dead
nasty.
now.
Yeah,
can't do anything
good.
about that.
Oh, you can piss on his grave. Now his grave is probably like non-existent. He floated under the afterworld because he probably got hollow bones. He probably did some body modification.
That's ignorant. So
MJ.
Yeah, MJ, man.
I still listen to Thriller. I can't help it.
You can't cancel the music.
I can't.
Cancel the artist, not the art. Right?
Because it is Thriller. Yeah, fucking. All right. I'm going to get canceled. So I'm going to be like, I listen to Love Michael.
You're going to have like a shit ton of protesters.
Yeah, they'll show up like it will.
Diddler sympathizers.
It'll be Uber leading a fucking
Uber.
A bunch of people with motherfucking pitchforks.
I'm surprised you didn't get pizza this time.
You know what? I thought about it earlier, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a break this week, and then we're gonna get back to. Don't worry, we're gonna get back to it. We have, I haven't seen. Oh, I saw Raul today when I was driving, actually, but I have not seen Raul since the last show. I think he was a little disappointed that we didn't invite him in for a bong hit or something. But next time, Raul,
it's too late on the show, brother.
It is. I think I don't know.
Yeah,
are we going to the Catamount tonight, or you guys are you coming, or is it another early night for the?
It's up to you, man.
I'm gonna pop in.
Maybe.
I got a Diet Coke with lime with my name on it. I might even fuck around and get frisky and get a shrimp cocktail, or maybe even one of their tasty new baked potato specials.
Baked taters.
Taters, man, it's tits and taters in that motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding. It's that was
rubbing fronts and front royal.
Rubbing fronts and front royal and get your
tits
and taters.
He said there's titties up in there.
Well, there's a certain element of truth in that statement, but more so I was making a reference to Eastbound and Down remember when he opens up the kiosk in the mall, tits and taters. TNT.
That show was great.
Oh my god, that was.
I can feel it down in my plums.
I can feel it in my plums. They're gaining a bluish hue.
Ready for market.
I actually referenced that today, and Adam did not know what I was talking
Oh,
about.
dude, that
Divorce.
Like I picked up like the LaCroix, and I was like beach plums.
Get out
Plums.
of here. Plums.
I can feel it in my
man.
plums.
So you made some awesome new jewelry.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Yeah, there's
I'm
a great
actually
promotional
wearing
video
the
earlier.
one that like I'm wearing it right now. It's very.
It is really
I
cool.
love it.
It
I
matches
love
your
it.
chest tattoo.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I like the like chandeliers. I've gotten a lot of compliments on it, but I make them super long because I kind of have like I was blessed with my dad's short neck, and I feel like it creates the illusion that I have a longer neck. You know, like it's graceful. Like look,
Stilts for your neck.
you can like look. You can see my jawline. Like I'm 43 and I don't have like a turkey neck, guys. And it's because of the earrings. So if you too, want a nice, graceful-looking neck, you should buy my art. You should buy my earrings. I make cool earrings. I'm not just gonna have the death head. I'm gonna have like different variations of that. But I also have
I'll
like
buy a
all
pair,
kinds of other stuff.
but
that
you gotta
can
make
take
them.
a gander.
Ooh, you got like I saw a bunch of different ones. Like, didn't you make some lightning bolt ones?
Yeah, I made brass lightning bolts. I found like a few cool findings that may or may not be real animal bones, and I will be making stuff out of those too. So yeah, definitely come see me at my booth May 18th. I'll be there selling my wares and tantalizing the eye senses with my stuff. Yeah.
Feel it all the way down on my plums.
Chris,
Yo,
plug your dates, man.
right now, man, there's slim pickings, dude. I hope that John Yeager's listening. I've been talking to him actually a little bit back and forth during the show. Yeah, John, he was an alumni of the show via call. He was one of our call-ins. Great comedian, does a really funny Trump impressions, does really funny comedy in general. He's actually just like, that dude's never not on. Like, I've talked to him, when I talk to him outside of like anything, he's always just a mile a minute of jokes, and it's inspirational and intimidating and arousing all at the same time. A little bit chub, but I'll be at the Catamount Lounge slinging drinks. You can catch me there most nights and Sunday afternoons. I will be doing comedy at open mic night at the Catamount Lounge on Monday evening. I will be at both the Catamount Lounge and at the On Cue the following Monday. Hopefully something to pop up between then and then. Please, anybody listening that can make that happen, that'd be terrific. And then Connor, I'm looking at you. And what else is there going on? Oh yeah, next time we'll talk more so about my new conspiracy about the UFO sightings above Mexico and Las Vegas, and then all of a sudden wildfires the next day.
Wildfires.
And I think the laser, they were shooting the laser beams at the aliens, and the aliens.
I want to be a laser beam.
You're a laser
shooting by at such high speeds.
George, you were a
nobody can.
You were a goddamn laser beam of both sexuality and knowledge at the same time. You're like a sexy version of Beast from X-Men, but with less hair and more swagger.
I grew up poor with encyclopedias.
That's tight.
You know, every week holds a new day, and you could run around and you could be like, this week sucks, or you could suplex that bitch. You could hit it with a Steiner recliner. You could crawl atop it. You could whisper in his ear, "I bested you." You could do that. I could do that. We all could aspire to be like that. I'm going to try to suplex my week. Next week, you come back and you suplex your week. What we going to do? We going to get on the top rope. And let's see what happens.
Slapping them.
I'm not wearing the Speedos. I'm going to be a bad guy, though.
Yeah. I'll wear the Speedo.
He'll wear the Speedo.
And a Cobra Commander mask.
What are you going to wear?
I don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
I
You got
think about it.
You going to wear like an X-Men suit?
It's probably gonna be something from Free People.
Okay.
I'll look fly as hell, but also villainish.
I'm going to look like a pro wrestler.
Like
That's what's
a
up.
rock star that might kill
You already do look like a pro wrestler.
I am a pro wrestler.
You look like Irving R. Shyster.
I am. I am him and he is me.
Yeah.
Look, guys, go over to Dirtbag, Helltown, all of them. You can look it up on the internet. It'll find you. You'll find it sooner or later. Hopefully, soon we'll be on iTunes. I'll have to do more work, but we will do this. Just remember, hug your dog, feed him treats.
Slap it.
My kid got into a magnet school. Congratulations, you little bastard.
Bye.
Bye.